Hey everybody, welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, your live and local show dedicated to sports here on the shore. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bosser.
It's yours truly, sports anchor Devin J. Martin. Welcome into the show. We got a lot to get in tonight. I'm so excited that my mic came out. I had to pop it back in real quick.
Yeah, that's right. It was a very exciting week of basketball here on the shore. We saw a lot of amazing matchups in both conferences. We saw quite a few top five matchups.
Especially, as you mentioned, top five. We're finally getting to see who's really the cream of the crop, who's really number one, and who's really number two. And I'm glad we got some of those answers this week.
Yeah, we got to see number one versus number two in the Henlopen up in Delaware. We're going to begin with our game of the week from last night, which finally, we got to see Seaford and Laurel squaring off.
Absolutely. Seaford came out on top, but this one was close throughout. What a game we saw. A sold-out crowd at Laurel last night. Check out the rejection by Brent Ricketts in the opening minute.
Great defensive play to set the tone there for this game.
Off the backboard, it was a pin, a game changer on offense and defense. And Kareem Bolden put some English on it with the shot. Blue Jays in control, but Laurel was never out of it. Brock Hill, from straight away, he gets the pass, and he's going to knock it down. He's wide open, nothing but net. We have a tied game. And then later, Dontarius Jones, with some fancy footwork, is going to go coast to coast in transition. Euro step his way to the cup. They're fired up in the dog pound. Laurel takes their first lead.
And with those long limbs, he is just so deadly with that Euro step. Seaford called time. The two Titans swapping punches here. Kashmir Wise from three sinks it, and that gives Seaford the three-point edge as we go to the fourth. Laurel continuing to show that poise. Here comes Dontarius Jones down the court. Another Euro step right here. Jones laying it in. Laurel within two. Moments later, Jones again, this time from the paint. Floater is good, but they found themselves down again. 3 points. They need it. Joel Parker from the corner. Bang! Knocks it down. All cotton for Parker. Tied game once again. Devin, this was an amazing finish to this one. In the end, who could have seen this coming? Seaford's defense. We haven't talked about their defense all year. They're the top scoring team in the entire state of Delaware. That play was huge. It put them up by 3 with 38 seconds left. In the end, Seaford knocks down their free throws. Laurel can only get one shot to go in the final 30 seconds, and Seaford goes on to win 68-63.
Defense was championships.
It felt good playing against a team like this, and we're rivals, so to win it is really big.
This is a small town. Everybody's just into basketball. Everybody anticipates this game every year. Everybody hypes it up, so it means more to win.
Yeah, we could have done better. We were just not knocking down shots. We could have drove in more instead of settling for the three-pointer.
Our coaches in the locker room let us know that we don't got to force anything. Get to the rim, do what we have to do to get the dub.
Sellout crowd. It was an incredible atmosphere for a high school game.
Yeah, and again, it should have been our top two teams from the Henlopen, and they gave us a classic yet again. And these past couple years, when these two squads go at it, it's nothing but fireworks. I mean, I was at their game in the Summer League in Delaware, and that was a Summer League championship, and that was nothing but fireworks as well. So, I mean, yesterday's game in the regular season, nothing different. Now, Brandon, obviously you were there. This could have been anyone's game. Laurel was step for step with the Blue Jays, including being up for a while, but Avion Matthews making the great defensive play. As you mentioned, the defense for Seaford winning this game over the Bulldogs.
I think Avion gets a little overlooked on that Seaford team with Brent Ricketts and Kareem Bolden and Kashmir Wise. Avion Matthews was stellar yesterday. 25 points for the Blue Jays to lead them. Brent Ricketts only had 5 points, all 5 points coming in that first quarter.
Wow.
Gotta wonder, where did he go in this matchup? That's one of my concerns with Brent, is sometimes we see him go out there in these big games and he only delivers 5-10 points. Needs to be a little more consistent with those big games, but I thought we saw...
Shows the depth of Seaford, though, that they're able to win, even though he only had 5 points.
Yeah, they've got tremendous depth on that team, many athletes on that squad, but I think that Laurel also showed their depth as well in this matchup, because Corey Mumford and Dontarius Jones didn't get really going until the second half. Joel Parker and especially Kylie's Wilson. Kylie's Wilson was a dog out there on the court, making some really tough shots in the paint. He really stepped up big for the Bulldogs. I really like what I saw from Laurel more than what I saw from Seaford, even though Seaford won the game.
No, I can definitely see why, especially that defense was crazy on both sides. But again, someone had to win, and it happened to be Seaford this time. They'll rematch later in the year.
I'll tell you what, though, I really do like both Laurel and Seaford down the stretch in the postseason. I think both of these teams have a really good chance of going far. Now, we did see our numbers 3 and 4 in the Henlopen play as well up in Dover. Rematch between these two Henlopen squads, the Senators and the Polytech Panthers. Jump into the third quarter of this crazy matchup. Darrell Little driving to the lane. Jalen Anderson cleans it up. Dover's third quarter lead, only 4. Fast break layup for Jaheim Harrell, and that's going to put them up by 6. Panthers claw back in it. Little lived at the rim in this game. Didn't matter who was in front of him. He's going to get 3 the old-fashioned way. The hoop and the harm for him. Polytech pulls in front by 1. 4 minutes to go. Denham Perkins takes matter into his own hands. He hits that one.
Yeah, he hit Javion Dennis for that and one layup, and Perkins looked like he had eyes in the back of that head with that pass. Now the Panthers, though, would get back on top, taking over the game late in the fourth quarter. Their momentum starts with this drive and finish from Xavier Brewington. And then Senators offense stalling down the stretch. Polytech gets the rebound off the miss. Outlet pass to Little, and he lays that bucket in. That gives Polytech a 1-point lead. Little had 28 points on the night. None were bigger than those two. And then Brewington would hit 2 clutch free throws with 30 seconds left. They give Polytech a 3-point lead. Now, Senators did have one final chance to send the game into overtime, but they couldn't even get a shot up. They try to run a set, but Brett Shelton Hoskins has other plans. He strips the ball from Dennis, stealing the win and sealing the win for Polytech. Panthers go on the road, beat the Senators for the second time this season.
Yeah, and the thing about this Panthers team is not only do they have Kyle Gamber and Xavier Brewington, but Darrell Little gets lost a little bit in this team as well because they've got a 3-headed monster up there.
Absolutely.
In Woodside.
And Kyle Gamber only had 5 points in that game, and Polytech was able to win.
So these games taking place yesterday over in Delaware. Look at this, Devin. What a shocker. Cape Henlopen goes into Dover and defeats the Senators 62-60. Cape 8-4 on the season.
Wow.
They had won 7 games all of last year. So hats off to the Vikings. They are impressive so far this season. Another great story. Sussex Central taking it over Smyrna. The Knights have now won 5 in a row. They're 9-3 after that 2-win season last year. So 2 fantastic stories in the Henlopen this year.
Big turnarounds.
Woodbridge over Delmar by 10. Jeremy Fletcher 18 for the Blue Raiders, and Indian River defeating Lake by 5. Brendan Bradford 26 points for the Indians. One of the more underrated players in the Henlopen, Jamal Jones with 6 3-pointers in the win. So 2 really good seniors for Indian River.
Now let's talk about the Bayside. Now another fantastic game in Salisbury between 2 other top 5 teams from the Bayside. Bennett
This
and
one
Decatur.
rivals what we saw with Laurel and Seaford.
Absolutely. Now Bennett taking control early on. Wes Moss with a turnaround jumper right here. He knocks it down. They're at home. Bennett by 10 after 1. But here come the Seahawks, fully healthy and fully loaded. Bounce pass baseline to Bryson Coleman. Coleman shows off the vertical right there with the 2-hand slam. He had a huge night. And then Noah Tucker from long range. Splash downtown right there. Decatur on the comeback trail out of halftime. Seahawks are finally healthy, and you're seeing the damage they can do with a fully loaded squad. David Chandler finds Akai Baker in the corner. Give him all 3 of those. Decatur takes a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter on the road over Bennett.
Bennett not finished yet. Darian Collins rocks the house with that jam. Great play there. Later, it's Christian Davis. Coast to coast, lays it in. More from the home team. Moss again with the short jumper in the paint to clean things up, and Bennett retakes the lead. The crowd absolutely loving it here, but hey, too much Decatur down the stretch. David Chandler drives the floater, and it's good. Decatur sinks their free throws down the stretch. Seahawks go on to down Bennett. Look at the emotion on the sidelines for the Decatur Seahawks. They really wanted to win this. They're not afraid to tell anyone either. Don't sleep on the Seahawks down the stretch.
Definitely their best win of the year so far.
The chemistry that we're building is we're really getting there, and we're an exciting team to watch.
It's feel good. We starting to gel, you know. Everybody know their roles, so like that's just mainly what we're focusing on now.
I would say don't let the record deceive you. Don't let the record say that we're not good, because we're coming.
I like that confidence.
Yeah, I do too. You got to have confidence when you play in the Bayside. So let's look at some highlights from last night. Decatur hosting Snow Hill, a great rivalry game here. Snow Hill won the first matchup, but that one was close. This one close as well. Great pass from Jaden Hudson to Bryce Coleman, and then a big difference maker for the Seahawks. David Chandler hitting that three, and then Jaden Hudson here under the rim, reverse lay-in. He's one of the best playmakers in the conference. Transfer from Snow Hill. Decatur takes it 77-74 over Snow Hill, but the Eagles have played Decatur very tough twice this season. They're going to make some noise in the 1A.
Now, let's move over to some more final scores in the Bayside Conference last night. Pocomoke defeats Washington by 3. They repay the favor after Jaguars took game 1. Y-High 6-point winners over Parkside. That was a close one. The Y-High tribe, they'll survive the upset alert and remain unbeaten. Parkside,
that was surprising.
Yeah, Parkside almost got them. That would have been a big loss for Y-High. But they were able to hang true and win that game. North Dorchester defeats Colonel Richardson by 6. And Easton continues to roll, 27-point winners over Kent County. Now, we've been talking a lot about the boys, but what about the girls, Brandon? We've had some girls games this week as well. Tonight, we saw a Bayside South matchup rivalry. Snow Hill hosting Decatur. The Seahawks hasn't lost to a team from this side of the bridge all year. Now, Maya Garner gets the offensive rebound, and she puts it up and back in over the defense.
Yeah, she's a fantastic player in the paint for Decatur. She is the straw that stirs the drink.
Absolutely, but Snow Hill was not dead in this one. Mara Milborn, the sophomore, gets the and one to fall. She was on a mission all night to hand the Seahawks their first loss of the year, not including any Governor's Challenge. In the second half, she kept pouring it on, this time from behind the arc. She had 4 triples in the second half alone. But Decatur responded with some sweet shooting of their own. Shelby Roseman gets the swing pass and launches it nothing but net. Now the sophomore guard Milborn did everything she could to win this game for Snow Hill. They were pulled within 4 points with a fast break layup. They were down by 12. But Milborn led the way with the Eagles with 20 points, but Gardner and the Seahawks would win the Battle of the Birds tonight. Decatur moves to 12-0 in non-Governor Challenge related games.
I'll tell you what, we've seen Decatur in a couple of close games already. I think they're really missing Nadia Bullock. They're still the best team in the Bayside South, though. More girls action up north now. The Warriors hosting Kent Island. Bucks with full control in this one. They're the top team in the north this season. Easton looking to get something cooking here. Pass inside to Damia Henry, and she sinks the shot. Kent Island just too much on offense, though. Setting up in the half-court offense. They're going to wait for the right shot right here. Olivia Hainsworth, pump fake here, puts it up and drops it down. Kent Island continues their dominance in the Bayside North. They defeat rival Easton 47-31. I really think we're heading towards a Decatur-Kent Island Bayside championship in the girls' side.
And I think Parkside is also a third team they'll also look out for.
Parkside's great, too.
Yes, they are.
All right, that'll do it for the A block. We're taking our first time out. UMES men's basketball is off to their best start in years. We're taking you down to Hawks Country next on the Delmarva Sports Insider.
I'm Brent Ricketts with Seaford Basketball, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.